It's Monday, April 3rd, and time for your Barbados Today morning update. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Topping the news at this hour, a St. Lucie family is in mourning following an unnatural death of a loved one. This as police investigate a suspected drowning at the Six Men's Beach in St. Peter. According to police spokesman Acting Inspector Roland Cobbler, a 43-year-old man from Rockall, St. Lucie, was found face down in the water around 5 p.m.
Our preliminary investigations are suggesting that the deceased came to the beach with a group of friends. Whilst in the water, he was observed floating face down and subsequently pulled from the sea unresponsive, where he died at the scene. Our investigations are continuing.
In other news, Barbados and the rest of the Caribbean are being urged not to underestimate the importance of the work of the regional security system in maintaining law and order in its member states. The call came from former RSS Executive Director Grantley Watson at his farewell reception on the weekend. Watson said there have been calls for the establishment of a regional body to combat the crime wave now sweeping the region. But he said the Barbados-based organization is working to protect the welfare of citizens in its 7 member countries.
Members in the OECS, we have an organization already, RSS. You only have to build on it to get what you want. Right? You don't have to spend money. So I never said in the public before, when they say no, that look inward at the RSS and make what we can from it. It has potential as an organization, the crimes and the other things that the RSS did, which would involve disaster response and things like that. Right? So I look forward to see the RSS being put in that position.
LIAT officials warn Barbadian travelers and others in the Caribbean to expect delays in the coming days. Management says the carrier is experiencing delays and cancellations due to industrial unrest by its workers. Union representing the airline's employees had previously threatened to take action if LIAT goes ahead with plans to pay salaries late. However, Acting Chief Executive Officer Julie Riffer-Jones is assuring the traveling public that the airline is working towards resolving the issue. She says shareholder governments have already been asked to urgently intervene, and they have agreed to meet in Barbados this week for talks. President of the National Union of Public Workers, Akani McDowell, says he will not engage in any public quarrel with former union leader Walter Maloney. Last week, Maloney, speaking at a Democratic Labour Party lunchtime lecture, gave the union a failing grade under McDowell's presidency. But in a statement, the president made it clear that he does not engage with his colleagues in the media. Instead, McDowell, who is being challenged for the presidency by Deputy General Treasurer Roy Greenidge in Wednesday's poll, said his team should be judged by its record over the last 2 years. President of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul, says AgroFest will now be a year-round project for schools. He made the announcement over the weekend at the Dining Club, where young people received more than half of the awards for AgroFest 2017.
The AgroFest is going to be an all-year-round thing, because what we recognize is that it is not just an event. It is the activities that lead up to the event. It is that we need to, in the same way that these farmers that you see here work extremely hard in terms of trying to prepare their animals, prepare the products in order to come to AgroFest, we recognize that we need to work with the stakeholders in the schools in order to encourage them to be able to attend. So one of the things that actually you will see going through this year as a result of this year's AgroFest is an attempt to actually get involved in the schools with projects to help those schools, so that what we will see at AgroFest in future years is a more effective presentation on the part of the schools in terms of the activities that they're involved in agriculture. And I don't want you to think that the schools are actually not doing a lot. They are doing a hell of a lot there. That I really think that we sometimes do not take the opportunity to appreciate that contribution that they are making. So I really want to say to you that that is one of the efforts that we'll be making. And of course, we will be enlisting our board members, our farmers, in terms of that particular effort, in terms of trying to get those schools involved.
Consumers are paying more for gasoline, diesel and liquefied petroleum gas, but less for kerosene. The retail price of gas increased by 1 cent and now costs $2.97, while diesel went up 7 cents to $2.28. Kerosene now retails at $1.12 per liter, down from $1.13. The 100-pound cylinder now costs $157.72, an increase of $3.87, while the 25-pound cylinder costs 90 cents more at $44.53. The 22-pound cylinder is now $39.35, an increase of 85 cents. The price of the 20-pound cylinder has moved from $35 to $35.77. The increases went into effect at midnight last night. In sports, Ahmed Shahzad struck a patient half-century as Pakistan cruised to a 7-wicket win over West Indies in the final T20 International. Playing in Trinidad yesterday, Pakistan bowlers restricted the West Indies to 124 for 8 before Shahzad struck 53 to help his side reach their target with 6 balls to spare. The Tourists secured the series 3-1.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Who calling? Get your yams and potatoes. Wait, my girl, how you want to see you for long?
I got how you keeping, but you don't sell the nation paper no more.
But that paper ain't selling. This months now I stop selling that. Look, one time I would have make a little dollar on the Sunday sun. But when Sunday night, I still trying to get the weather there.
Well, you know you can't call that the Sunday sun no more. You're going to call that Sunset News. At no time that news stale.
People complain that them ain't got nothing in it to read and the price keep going up all the time. A woman abused me so sick the other day, telling me that she does read Barbados today online for free. I can't take that abusing soul, so I switched to my potatoes and yams.
Well, let me tell you, if pork selling, you got to raise pigs. How much for the yams?
Oh, 75 cents a pound.
But that's cheaper than that stale news. Give me...
How much you want?
a pound.
Only a pound? Anyhow, these eating real good. Let me wrap them up for you. Come.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the region, law enforcement authorities in Trinidad have been mulling over ways to arrest the crime situation. So far, the country has recorded 127 murders. The National Security Minister says there needs to be greater collaboration between the force and his government, while the country's top cop believes anti-gang legislation is the way to go. Mark Besant of TV6 News has more.
Minister of National Security Edmund Dillon proposed that a collaborative effort is needed by the police and government to deal with this explosion of violence that has stalked many in the country, mainly these days in the central, northern and western divisions.
We feel that we must be able to target them both operationally and legislatively.
But Minister Dillon says the lack of opposition support for the Anti-Gang and Bail Act, which was defeated in August 2016, has severely crippled the police's ability to seek out gang members and gang-related activity, essentially giving the police power to arrest without warrant and hold these persons for 120 days. But there's no law, the police commissioner says, and his officers' hands are tied.
I hear the discussion about the police service enforcing the gang laws, but there are no gang laws in Trinidad and Tobago to date. And that discussion seemed to be lost in the public domain because we cannot enforce the gang laws. Trinidad and Tobago is one of the few countries in the region without legislation dedicated to addressing a problem which everybody in this country is aware of.
Over on the international front, a desperate search is on in Colombia as rescuers dig through mud and debris for survivors after devastating mudslides left more than 200 dead. We get more in this CNN report.
It happened in Mocoa, capital of Putumayo province in southern Colombia. Mocoa is surrounded by 3 rivers which overflowed as a result of some of the heaviest rains the city has seen in years. Colombian President Juan Manuel Santos said in just one night, Mocoa got about a third of the rain that would normally fall in a full month. The president also said the death toll will likely rise because there are still many people who are missing.
We do not know how many there are going to be. We are still searching. But the first thing I want to say is that my heart, our hearts, the hearts of all Colombians are with the victims of this tragedy.
Santos has declared a state of emergency in the region. Electrical power and water were out in Mocoa, and the hospital system was shut down, according to firefighters. About 1,000 police officers and soldiers are helping in the search and rescue efforts.
The difficulties we are facing are that it is still raining in the region, and the avalanche turned up a considerable amount of land. There are mobility issues on almost 80% of the roads, and where the road ends, it is 3 hours to the place where the avalanche took place.
And on that note, we come to the end of our news and sports update, but there is more on our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izubi Media and bus terminals and screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Or you can tune in to Channel 99 on Flow TV or Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good morning.